Hey guys, welcome back to QuickBooks. My name is Basit and in today's video we are going to learn how we can create estimates and how we can send the estimates to our customers directly via email, and how we can convert the estimates into the sales invoices. So I am on my home screen of QuickBooks Online, and let's get started. So the first, you have to go to the sales section and go to all sales. Now these are the colorful bars which gives you different details, like there is one estimate for $4,440. This is the unbilled income, overdue invoices, and the open invoices and the credits. And these are some of the invoices which I created recently. So in order to create an estimate, go to this new transaction tab and select estimate. Now this will open the estimate screen for your QuickBooks Online. Now on the top it says you add the customer to whom you want to send this estimate. If I click the icon, it shows me my existing customers. If I want to invoice my existing customers, if I want to raise this estimate to them, I can choose them, or I can also add a new customer. Here you will have to add all of your details of the customer, but I am just going to mention the name of the company. Let's say the name is Tech Traders, and the rest you have also to fill out the email, phone number, and all the real data of your customer. And let's say the email is tech@traders.com. And now this gives me the option to now this gives the information, all the information regarding my estimate. I have a bill to section which shows the name, and then there is a ship to detail. Normally this is same, but it can be different. Then ship via, shipping date, tracking number, and these are all the details that can vary according to the nature of the business. If you are providing services, you do not need to add this ship to and these shipping details and the tracking number. And you can customize these this all of the estimate header by going to the manage customization, and you can uncheck this ship to and whatever other details you want to remove from your header. Now below we have discount and fees, design and scheduling, which we will move on later. You can also change the estimate number as well. Let's say if you want to put it like E202401, you can do like that. It's up to you. Or if you leave it on the QuickBooks will add a default E1001, 1002, and this will continue to go on. Let's say the estimate date is today, that is 26th of September 2024, and this will expire after 1 month on 25th of October. And now let's go to the product or service, what we are going to estimate. Let's say the expected service date is 15th of October, and we are going to provide some IT consultancy for 6 hours, and per hour we are going to charge $250. So this will make the total to $1,500. Yeah, I can also add multiple line items. Let's say another service consultancy is expected on maybe 20th of October, and I can choose it other service or IT consultancy, maybe installation, monitors, or whatever I want. And you can also add new products and services as well. I have a separate video discussing about how you can create your inventory, services, the bundles, and non-inventory items. I will leave a link down in the description if you want to see. But let's say I'll add here another service that says follow-up consultation, and the category is service, and I can mention a detail about, let's copy and paste the description, and let's say we charge $150 for follow-up service and save and close. So by default, as I have mentioned the detail of the rate, it has added the rate by itself, but I can also change it as well. Let's say for this project we will charge $200, and you can continue to add more and more line items as well. You can also add a subtotal after the lines, after the number of lines you have added the services. Let's say I want to mention here the subtotal of these two rows. I'll go to add product or service and I'll click add subtotal. Now it has added a subtotal. Now a very practical use of this thing can be when you are selling products and services in the same estimate, because on the service the sales tax may be 0% and on the product the sales tax may be 5%, 10%, depending upon the tax laws of your state. So after the subtotal I can add a product here as well. Maybe I can add monitors or whatever. Another practical use of this subtotal is that I can add a specific percentage. Let's say we have an agreement with our client that on the service we will charge an additional 5% of the subtotal. Let's add one product. I can also choose a date. Let's say the date is maybe on 20th of October we will deliver the monitors. And also remember that on this list you will only see those products and services that you have already created. You can create add new, but the existing will only show the already created products and services. Let's say we are charging $350 for monitor. Now on the total it shows you the sum of all the total amounts per line. But as I told you that for sales tax calculations the subtotal is a useful feature, and as in this invoice we are selling our services and the products as well. Now the sales tax can also be different. I'll create a separate detailed video how to set up a sales tax, because this is going to be a very long so let's keep things on track, and we are done with our estimate. Now let's go to the manage and see how we can customize this estimate. On the customization, as I already told you that you can add ship to details as well if you are selling some physical inventory or products, and you can also remove the ship to details as well. SKU or SKU you can add if you want, and you can also add custom fields. Let's say I want to show a customer code on this estimate, and the number of custom fields you can create on your invoice or estimate will depend upon which QuickBooks Online version you are using. If you are using QuickBooks Online advanced version, you can add up to 50 custom details, but for plus version the limit is 3. You can add 3 custom fields, but anyways it is practically like you can add maybe 1, 2, 3 custom details. I don't know who is going to add 150 custom fields in his invoice, but this is a feasibility, this is a good option. So let's try to create one custom field. Let me save it, and then we will move on to creating some custom fields for our estimates and invoices. So let's add one custom field. The name is, let's say, customer code, and data type is a number. Now this is asking me for which category of transactions I want QuickBooks to show this custom field. Let's say select for customer. So let's say for the customers, and I want to show it on the estimates, on the sales invoices, on the sales receipts, and save. So here you can see that our customer code, our custom field, has been set up. Now this tick shows that on which of the documents this is going to appear. This is going to be shown on the sales receipt, invoice, and estimate. I can also add it for if I have my change of mind and I want to show it on different documents. You can add also multiple custom fields, and you can also make them inactive and delete them. So let's go back to our estimate. And let's edit our estimate. So here you can see our custom field is created. I can add a customer code for my this customer. Let's say this is the customer code, and on the bottom you can see it is saying hidden, which means that our customer would not be able to see this code. Only we can see this code internally, and it won't appear before your customer because we haven't allowed QuickBooks to show this to our customer as well. You can do that as well if you want, because we haven't allowed QuickBooks to show this code to the customer. You can also do that. Let's save our estimate and let's go back to the custom fields. Now go to edit. Here you can see the button. Let's make it print on form, and print on form. Save. Now this will also get printed as well, and if we are going to send our estimate to our customer, the customer would be able to see it now. Let's check it out. Go to sales and let's go to our estimate. Now here you can see that the word hidden has been removed. Now the customer would be able to see this code. So if you are following this policy to create customer codes, you can use custom field to create customer codes for your different customers. And let's explore some more options. Now on the discount and fees, here you can see there is no discounts appearing. I can check this on, and now you can see a discount field appearing here. Now there are two ways you can set a discount. First, you can use a percentage, let's say 10%, and now that it will give 10% of the subtotal of this invoice. Now always remember that the discount is going to apply on the subtotal. If I was to have my sales tax here, this discount will not apply on the sales tax. It will apply on the subtotal only. The second option you can give discount is you can give flat discount. Let's say instead of percentage, I want to give a flat amount. And let's say I want to make it to 2000. I can give $50 as discount, and then my estimate total will become a flat $2000. So this way you can give the discounts as well. And if you are selling physical inventory, you can add a shipping fee as well. We can add $25 for a shipping fee. The multi-currency is a different scenario. I will create a separate video on it because this is also a very long technical thing. So because when you set multi-currency, so when the currency gets converted, there are exchange gains and losses incurring. So you also have to set those as well. So we will see this in a later video. Let's go to design. On the design, you can see there are two different options, modern and standard. So this estimate has been created on a standard view. Now the view you are seeing is a standard view. I can pick to choose the modern view as well. It is quite similar, but a little more compact and attractive. And try to get used to this modern view, because the things are changing. QuickBooks will soon, and QuickBooks may soon remove this option. So on the second comes the colors. You can choose a different color that you find attractive for your invoice. The color typically is going to be highlighted on the header section, because you can see the top section and the bottom section almost remains the same for every color scheme. It just changes the colors of the headers, but it is acceptable because the invoice should look professional as well. So blue works fine for me. You can choose any other color you want, and if you want to choose a printer friendly color, so depending upon your printer, whether you are having a colorful inkjet printer or maybe laser printer, so you can make it printer friendly color as well, which will be black and white. But if you're having a color printer, so it is fine. This blue works nice for me. You can also change your logo here. This is my company's logo. You can add any other logo according to your company. And QuickBooks also gives you the option to choose the font. You can choose different types of fonts. I like this one, so let's keep as the default. You can also schedule your estimates and invoices to be sent later, to be printed later. And on the bottom it gives you the option to access different reports. And note that estimate is a non-posting entry. If I create this estimate for $2,025, it is not going to affect my profit and loss and all the other reports, because it is a non-posting entry. When I will create a sales invoice, then I would be able to see my revenue by $2,025. So the creation of this estimate is not going to affect the profitability, or it will not affect the financial facts and figures of my company. Now let's convert our estimate into a sales invoice. Now let's assume that our estimate got accepted by our customer. So on the drop down icon, you can select mark accepted, and let's say by mark, and let's say it got accepted on the same date. And now it gives us the option to convert it to the invoice. Now it gives different options in order to convert the estimate to the sales invoice. The first is remaining total of all invoices, which means that it will create a sales invoice of the whole amount. Or if your customer asks you to invoice it in a partial terms, like you can invoice 25% of the value of the invoice or 50% of the value, you can also do that. And the third, it gives you the option to create a manual entry for each line. If there are 3 line items in the invoice, you can opt to choose which line item you want to invoice. For the purpose of this video, let's select the total of all the lines, and this will create an invoice for the total of the estimate value. Now the header section of the invoice is pretty much similar. There is the name of the customer, the email address, bill to, ship to section. You can also add the shipping courier details, the tracking number if you want, and the sales invoice. For the sales invoice as well, you can also add different number if you want. Let's say if you want to do something like this, you can do that, or you can leave it to QuickBooks to use invoice number, and it will use a series of this 1005 1006, and it will continue in this manner. Now the terms you can select according to what you have agreed with the customer. Either you can select due on receipt, which means that the invoice is payable on the same date whenever your customer receives the invoice, or you can give different credit terms, let's say 15 days. So after the date of the invoice will become due after 15 days. And on here, as we created the customer code, and we also selected and asked QuickBooks to show this customer code on sales invoice as well. So there our customer code is also appearing here. Now, although I selected to invoice the whole amount of the estimate, but still I can change it. I can change and I can add a percentage of each line. Let's say I want to say for the first line, for the IT consultancy, I want to invoice for the 20%. So you can add 20 here, and QuickBooks will do the maths for you. This will make sure that only 20% of the amount of the total amount gets calculated here. I can select here 50%, and it calculates the amounts accordingly. And if I wanted to invoice a fixed amount, I can also do like 350 or whatever I want to do. So although you selected to invoice the whole amount of the estimate, but still it gives you the option for each line item to change the pattern of the invoicing. So it is up to you. So let's shift it back to the 100%. And the total is the same as the total of the estimate. On the top you can see that bottom of the invoice, it shows the linked transaction, and if I click on it, it gives me the detail of the estimate number, the date, and the amount, that this is the estimate that is linked to this invoice. Now it is not necessary to create an estimate for each of the sales invoice you are creating. It is up to your business practices. If you don't do estimates, you don't create estimates, you can simply raise the sales invoice as well. So that is something up to your need of the business. And on the manage section, it gives me pretty similar option that it used to give me for the creation of the estimate. It gives you some suggestions, and the customization tab is all similar. You can opt to choose the ship to items, the service date details, the product or service details, and you can add the custom field as well. On the payments option, QuickBooks allows you to receive direct payments from the customers. You can integrate your bank accounts, your PayPal with QuickBooks. QuickBooks will charge a default fee, a specific percentage, and it will give you a little more flexibility and ease to receive direct payments from your customers. You can set up here by providing all the details about your business, about your EIN, all the things, and you can see the rates here. For swipe, it is 2.3%, online invoices, ACH, and the other details is here. So it is something optional if you want to choose QuickBooks to receive your payments. And it also gives you a little further option about the deposits, the discount, and the shipping fee, and the multi-currency. And on the design tab, it gives you a standard view of this invoice. You can also switch to modern view, and you can see your sales invoice in the modern view as well. And the color scheme, let's keep it the same. The font, let's keep it same. And if you want to schedule for sending the invoice later or printing it later, you can also choose these options as well. And you can also select automatic invoice reminders if you want QuickBooks to send automatic reminders to your customers, as you have given the email address of your customer here as well. And now let's review and send our sales invoice. This is going to be the look that your customer is going to receive when you are going to send your invoice. You can modify the email body, you can modify the message, what you want to say to your customer as well. One last thing, you can also add a little details about what you want to mention to your customer. For example, you can ask your customer, please pay online via direct transfer. And you can also mention a note to the customer. For example, it's good to do. For example, thank you for your business. And you can also add some internal hidden notes, like it is saying hidden because your customer would not be able to see these notes. You can add these notes if you are different team members, different people involved in your QuickBooks Online, and you can add some specific instructions to your internal team members. And this is the memo that is going to appear on the statement when you are going to generate it for your customers and for your internal review as well. Let's say monitors and IT consultancy. So you can keep it simple and short, and the best way is you can add a little short details of what products or services you have provided to the customer. And on the last, you can add an attachment that can be maybe an agreement with the customer, or maybe any documentation regarding providing of your services, or any other document depending how you deal with your customers. And that's it. We are done with creating our sales invoice, and you learned how to convert your estimate into a sales invoice. So that is it guys for this video. I do hope you guys liked the video, and thank you for watching.